Welcome to Creating a World of Women of Significance on Global Voice Radio with your host, Margie O'Kane. Listen and learn how you can create a legacy for women and girls around the world. Women of significance can change the world. Here is your host, Margie O'Kane.
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm your host, Margie O'Kane. My shows are all about expanding qualities undeveloped within you, unleashing your potential and continuously improving self. This is another in the series, A Blueprint for a Life of Significance, a guide to continuously recode your life. Today, I'm talking about a subject that I have struggled with all during my life, and I would say I'm not there yet. I am a work in progress. However, on my journey, I have come across the insights that I'm going to share with you. The topic is self-love. You yourself as much as anybody in the entire universe deserves your love and affection, said the Buddha. I have struggled with lack of self-love most of my life. I have experienced feelings of guilt and shame on a regular basis and have consistently sought the approval of others. How can you learn to love yourself more when your mind is literally at war with itself? How can you learn to love yourself when you hate what you see in the mirror? How can you learn to love yourself when your environment is positively toxic and depressing? How can you learn to love yourself when you have no positive role models? How can you learn to love yourself more when people label you as being selfish and neglectful? So what is self-love? In short, self-love is the forgiveness, acceptance, and respect for who you are deep down. All your beautiful and hideous parts included. When you love yourself, you take care of yourself, you honor your limitations, you listen to your needs, and you respect your dreams enough to act on them. When you love yourself, your happiness, health, and fulfillment are all supreme importance because you realize that without loving yourself, you'll never be able to genuinely love others. Something that continuously shocked me about my own upbringing was the distinct lack of emphasis on respect for oneself and acceptance for one's flaws and virtues alike. As a child, I can't ever recall being taught the value of loving oneself or of setting healthy boundaries, knowing how to say no and yes when you meant it, and learning how to take care of yourself, even at the expense of others. Even if you were raised in a culture and society similar to my own, you were probably taught to put others before yourself and not give much consideration to your own needs. Self-denial and self-sacrifice were two of the main values taught in our childhoods and continue to be emphasized as the markers of a kind, caring, and worthy human being to this very day. The result of not being taught the value of self-love in childhood and adopting the socially accepted guise of being a martyr is depression, bitterness, anxiety, resentment, and profoundly flimsy self-esteem. However, even though you may not have been taught how to love yourself growing up, the door of opportunity is still open to you. Do you treat yourself like someone you love? Do you ever see yourself as less than vulnerable and worthwhile? I'm sure that many of us do. There has been a school of motivation, not literally a school perhaps, but a set of attitudes that beats you down so that you'll fight back and bounce up. You know the thing, punishes you for your failures more than rewards you for your successes. You could end up feeling that you could never be good enough. Life may not do that anyway, by giving you challenges that you could overcome or not. You probably have read inspiring motivational stories of people who have encountered all kinds of hardship and yet they made their lives remarkable. Helen Keller, W. Mitchell, Viktor, 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 To me, love is a deep appreciation. When I talk about loving ourselves, I mean having a deep appreciation for who we are. We accept all the different parts of ourselves, our little peculiarities, the embarrassments, the things we may not do so well, and all the wonderful qualities also. We accept the whole package with love, unconditionally. Unfortunately, many of us will not love ourselves until we lose the weight or get the job or get the raise or the boyfriend or whatever. We put conditions on our love, but we can change. We can love ourselves as we are right now. We are in the midst of enormous individual and global change. I believe that all of us who are living here now at this time chose to be here to be part of these changes, to bring about change and to transform the world from the old way of life to a more loving and peaceful existence. We are the power we have been seeking. We are in charge of our lives. If you are not willing to love yourself today, then you're not going to love yourself tomorrow, because whatever excuse you have today, you'll still have it tomorrow. Maybe you'll have the same excuse 20 years from now, and even leave this lifetime holding on to the same excuse. Today is a day you can choose to love yourself with no expectations. Love is something you choose the same way we choose anger or hate or sadness. We can choose to forgive someone who has hurt us and begin to finally heal. You can choose to be grateful for what we have. You can choose love. It's always a choice. Self-love has often been seen as a moral flaw, akin to vanity and selfishness. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary describes self-love as love of self or regard for one's own happiness or advantage. Self-love is the belief that you hold on that you are valuable and a worthy person. An example of self-love is when you have a positive view of yourself and are confident in yourself and your place in the world. So what does it mean to love yourself? Understanding that you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else, or before anyone else can love you. A relationship filled with anxiety, self-doubt, insecurity is headed for hell, and I don't think that's news to anybody. You must feel worthy of love, and that comes by loving yourself. In clinical psychology and positive psychology, self-acceptance is considered the prerequisite for that change to occur. In its most simplest form, self-acceptance means accepting yourself fully for the person you are. As a result, self-acceptance is something that you do. It is an active process that involves a willingness to experience thoughts, feelings, and emotions without denial or evasion. You can love someone else, even if you don't love yourself. However, you can't really love another until you love yourself. You don't know true forgiveness until you forgive yourself. It's a lot harder to love and forgive and accept yourself than it is to do it with others, especially those we care about. Learning to love yourself is embracing who you really are. Cast away trying to be happy and content with every second of your life and step into a greater reality of being honest about who you are and how you experience life. By doing so, you will create space to give and receive love. Your ultimate work in self-love is simply this: step fully and boldly into your life. When times are tough, be gentle on yourself. When times are good, relish them. As you grow closer to yourself, you will notice that in doing so, you become more powerful. And your final task is simple. Use everything you have in service of yourself and in service of others. Share your gifts. When you do this, everything in the world will turn brighter because of you. Sometimes people think of loving yourself as a feeling you have to conjure up. A good way to look at loving yourself is by emphasizing the action. What can I do to love myself, rather than how can I feel love for myself? Over time, you'll discover that loving yourself improves everything in your life, your relationships, your health and well-being, your ability to manifest your dreams and your self-esteem. Loving and connecting with yourself is the key to being able to love and connect with others and create loving relationships. Loving yourself is what enables you to raise your frequency and co-create with your higher self. Loving yourself is the key to creating a passionate, fulfilled, and joyful life. You are the singular most important person in the world. Everything in your life flows from your relationships to self. Learn to treat yourself like someone worthy of love, respect, and compassion, and your life will flow more effortlessly, abundantly, and more joyful than you can imagine. Treat yourself like someone worthy of content, disdain, and indifference, and each day will be a struggle to keep your head above water. The unfortunate part is that most people never put much energy into the relationship with themselves. They drift through life acting as their own worst critic, working to inhibit their potential and keeping their hearts and mind guarded. I know that sounds dramatic, but pause for a moment. If you spoke to your friends the way you speak to yourself in your head, would you have any friends left? I know before I started working on myself, I wouldn't. Or at a deeper level, have you ever felt truly loved by yourself or someone else? My journey isn't complete and never will be, but I have come a long way in my practice, because the truth of all this is that loving myself is hard. But it shouldn't be, but it is. The easy part is to distract yourself with drugs, alcohol, stress, white lies, busyness, bad relationships, external validation, and pretend happiness. But doing this makes you more of a cold, unfeeling robot, rather than a vivacious, hot-blooded human. One of my deepest wishes is that you wake up to how amazing and powerful you truly are. That journey requires finding the courage, and it does take courage, to live and love while you're still alive. Here are a few things that I have personally learnt on my path. Learn to be discerning and say, no, that's not true. You'll hear a lot of things on your path, some consciously and some unconsciously. You'll be told that your body isn't slim enough, your face isn't pretty enough, your personality isn't charming enough. Making mistakes is unacceptable. Taking care of your needs is selfish, etc., etc. Not all of these untrue and unhealthy perceptions will be immediately obvious. Some of them will creep into your mind, deep into your belief system, polluting your self-perception. To learn how to be discerning when you need to question everything, yes, it's tiring, but it's worth every ounce of your effort. Because being discerning will help you sort through a lot of mental rubbish, antiquated beliefs, and harmful ideals. Learning to say, no, that's not true, helps you discover what truth actually is. And the truth is always grounded in love. The more clarity you have, the more you'll be able to support and stick up for yourself. Are you your most mortal enemy? As I mentioned earlier, if you spoke to others the way you speak to yourself, you would have no friends. You are with yourself 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You are with yourself through all the glory and all the pain. Doesn't it make sense to be best friends with yourself? Wouldn't that make life so much easier? To practice self-love, it is important for us to consciously change our relationship with ourselves and treat ourselves with compassion and consideration, just as we would with a friend. So my question for you is this: how close are you with yourself? Do you give yourself pep talks as a best friend would? You treat yourself to fun and exciting activities you love. Are you there to hold your own hand when things get messy? If your answer is no, or rarely, or even sometimes, it's time to do things differently. Explore what it feels like being your own best friend. What one activity could you do this week that honors this philosophy? You need to change the way you perceive your flaws. Don't judge your sadness or depression, your feelings of unworthiness so quickly. Instead of feeling our guilt, jealousy, anger, fear, and sadness as a terrible curse, see them as opportunities to grow. Realize that everyone struggles with these universal human emotions. We all feel insecure at times, and that's perfectly okay. I remember how difficult it was for me to change the way I perceived my imperfection. Every time someone pointed out a flaw of mine or criticized me in any way, I'd feel depressed, angry, and defensive. I am dyslexic, and my husband corrects what I write. Out comes the red pen, and I get very defensive. It really annoys me. One day my partner said, instead of getting all sad and mopey, why not see this as an opportunity to grow? To be honest, I wanted to punch him right there and then. But after a few moments, I thought, what the hell? I'll give it a try. And what a humongous difference it made to my life. Instead of getting defensive, I would feel the sting to my ego, but another part of me would feel gratitude for the chance to grow. So give this mindset trick a spin. See what happens when you start perceiving your imperfections as an opportunity to grow. See what happens when you meet your inner challenges with gratitude. Critical and condemnatory self-judgment is the antithesis of self-love. The core reason we struggle so much with self-love in the first place is that we judge and reject ourselves. Don't get me wrong, self-judgment is not always a bad thing. We need to be able to measure up our ability to achieve certain tasks at work, as well as understand our strengths and weaknesses to make smart choices. But here's the thing. Self-judgment becomes toxic when it's used to negatively scrutinize, minimize, badmouth, shame, or otherwise harm ourselves. Unfortunately, most of us are in the habit of doing this. Thanks to our conditioning as children, it is actually socially acceptable to give ourselves trouble because that is what everyone else has been doing for a long time. We have to learn the art of self-care. Most of us are terribly disconnected from our bodies, our minds, our hearts and souls. We live in a world that encourages us to be externally focused and outwardly driven. But learning how to love yourself is about going the opposite direction and taking some of your energy and directing it inwards. Spend time each day connecting with your physicality and explore what you need. Perhaps you are tired and need more sleep. Perhaps your muscles ache and you need to do some stretches, or you might even need a good nutritious meal. These practices may seem simple, but they send a direct message and powerful message to your conscious and unconscious mind that you are worthy of being cared for. You need to be your own advocate and stand up for yourself, which means being your own advocate means exploring what your needs are and respecting them. It's a form of self-love. What is non-negotiable or a deal breaker in your life? What are your deeply cherished values? What are your boundaries? We all have them. Stand up for what you believe in is a form of self-respect. In order to be your own advocate, you need to explore what is making you feel unhappy, depressed, or overwhelmed in your life. What lines are being crossed? In which areas do you feel used or taken for granted? What makes you feel unsafe? Remember that being assertive about your needs and values isn't a synonym for being obnoxious. You don't need to be loud, angry, emotional, reactive to be an advocate for yourself. That approach will backfire very quickly. Instead, healthy assertiveness is about honouring yourself while at the same time being respectful towards others. Some mantras or affirmations that you might like to repeat yourself to practice healthy assertiveness include: I calmly and firmly honour my needs. I respect my needs in a gentle and assertive way. I allow myself to say no clearly and respectfully. I honour my needs, values, and feelings always. I create clear and constant boundaries that protect me. I have the right to defend my needs and desires. You need to explore the core beliefs that keep you small. Evaluating your core beliefs, the main ones you have about yourself, can and will transform your life if you know how to do it properly. However, for the sake of clarity, I'll give you a few helpful examples of core beliefs. Common ones include: I'm bad, there's something wrong with me, I'm not worthy, I'm unlovable, I'm broken. There are many ways to uncover and change your core beliefs. One practice I have recently discovered is how powerful the use of a mirror can be. Stand in front of the mirror in your house and designate at least 10 minutes to stand alone, undisturbed with yourself. My first attempt, I managed 3 minutes only. Then simply look at yourself, gaze into your eyes. What emotions and thoughts emerge? Mirror work is one of the most direct and dynamic ways of uncovering your self-talk and core beliefs. Pay attention to the inner dialogue that sounds like the following: I look ugly, this is stupid, there's something wrong with me. And notice what type of thoughts and feelings you keep having. Then enfold your body in a hug. Look at yourself and say, it's okay, I'm here for you, I accept you. Write about your experiences in your journal. But there is no singular path forward. Your job is to find your path. My advice to you, when you find a step or a suggestion that excites you, experiment with it. See if it opens you and makes you happy. If so, keep working with it. If not, let it go. Listen to the song from Frozen. Let it go. Today's 2 and 3 year olds sing and dance to this, which I think is a wondrous thing. Let your strong emotions be your guide. As you explore your inner self-love, you'll inevitably be faced with people who disagree, disapprove, or outright challenge your desire to make self-love a way of life. Here is how to see the bigger picture and prevent them from bringing you down. One big part of learning how to love yourself more is learning not to take it personally when others mistreat you. Ask yourself, how can a person who only knows conditional love give you unconditional love? That's like expecting a baby to climb a mountain. It doesn't happen. It can't happen. Therefore, what is the point of mourning the impossible? What is the point of getting wound up and unhappy over the people in your life who do not support you, but also speak against you? Their very actions speak of the abject lack of true love they have experienced, which is so sad. Most people do not only possess unconditional love, but they are also caught up in the underworld of fear and pain. This fear and pain are both sourced from the illusion that they are separate from life, that they are humans having a life experience, rather than life having a human experience. Once you realize that people are scared and in pain, it takes out the sting from their disapproving stares and mistreatment of you. And it frees up the energy to provide yourself with more self-love. Once this realization hits you, you stop reacting to their negativity and start feeling compassion for them. And it is this precise compassion that befuddles them, and sometimes it is enough to motivate them to try the same path as you. Do you think that a person who mistreats you think that they think they're superior to you? More than not, the answer is a big fat no. They mistreat you because they are threatened by you in some way, shape, or form. Unless they are clinical narcissists or psychopaths. Most people are deeply insecure and fearful. The more you go against the grain, the more threatening you'll become. Understanding this and your ability to practice self-love will become much easier and clearer. As we said before, learning self-love isn't easy. Put it this way, throughout the day, you're confronted with many opportunities to disregard or attune to your feelings, to judge or honor them, to keep commitments and be responsible to yourself, and to act in accordance with your needs, values, and feelings. You have an opportunity to learn self-love all the time. Every time you talk yourself down, doubt yourself, exhaust yourself, dismiss your feelings or needs, or act against your values, you undermine your self-esteem. The reverse is also true. You might as well make healthier choices because all you and all your relationships will benefit. Here are a few suggestions for valuing and appreciating yourself. Take a little time each day to be with your spiritual self. Do meditation, spiritual exercises, or contemplate the beauty in and around you. Allow yourself to awaken to more of the goodness that you are. Treat your body well, eat nourishing foods, drink plenty of water, exercise, walk, swim, or dance. Get a good night's sleep, rest and breathe, eat deeply. Adopt healthy attitudes. Extend loving acceptance, compassion, and empathy towards yourself and others. Be aware of and grateful for the blessings that you are and have to share. Be kind and tender to you. When you make a mistake, forgive yourself and learn from it. Make friends. Do not cut yourself off from others and hide away. Let the blessings that you are be known and shown. Every so often, take time to do absolutely nothing. Relax, switch off, unplug, stare into space, lie down and stretch out, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Catch up with your greater self, recharge those batteries. Be grateful for the gift of your life, treasure it, treasure you. Truly, deep down, you are the wealth you seek. Wishing greater health, wealth, and happiness in all of the ways it can come to you. I don't profess to know all the answers. I have been on this quest for years. I've experimented a hell of a lot with myself, worked through a lot of my own trauma, and continue to do so, with some delightful and surprising results. If I can, you can too. Remember, it is not your success that matters, but your significance. Reach out to me at margie@margieokane.com. I will be delighted to support you in your journey of significance. Again, thank you for listening. See you for the next in the series of A Blueprint for a Life of Significance, a guide to continuously recode your life. Margie Okane, signing off.
Thank you for listening. Join Margie Okane, host of Creating a World of Women of Significance, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio, where your voice is heard.